that was good, right? Her son, I don't know. I still think it was kind of weak actor to be honest. He's like, you know how much it sucks for you to be my mom, like that. I mean that kind of stuff is, and I get like the spirit of the scene is good, but it did the execution, at least on the son's part, was not so great. But I like how at least they gave her something to do outside of Picard, because I mean to be honest, most of these new characters haven't really been like endearing themselves to me. I liked Jurati before, but now I'm like, well, she's a killer, so I guess now my favorite new character is Rios, because I liked him in this episode.
Yeah,
he had more to do here. Again, I think it's odd he has all these holograms look just like him, but maybe we'll get some explanation about that at some point.
I love that. I think it's great.
It's me with a different voice every time. Yeah. But yeah, so we found out why Raffi came here, although it's kind of convenient that the one planet that the guy nobody can find is on, that Picard came to her to help find, is on the same planet as her son. I mean, it's kind of contrived, right?
Yeah, and why is he on Free Cloud? Because Free Cloud totally reminded me of Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, why would he be there? And was his wife Romulan, Vulcan? I don't know.
See, this is what people don't talk about, the makeup change for the Romulans, right? People always talk about, well, you know, the Klingons, now they used to be people and now they have foreheads. Yeah, well, the Romulans also in TNG, they have these bridges on their, the brows of their eyebrows, pronounced bridges. And it's more subtle. It's a much more subtle change than the Klingons, but it's a change, right? And that's how you knew who was a Romulan and who was a Vulcan, right? And I appreciate that so much more now, because now I could tell. Because there were episodes of TNG where you had Vulcans, Romulans posing as Vulcans, Data's Day, right? An episode where Data writes a letter to Bruce Maddox, right?
Exactly,
so tying it all together, right? The ambassador there, she was a Romulan, surgically altered to look like a Vulcan, right? And it's not that difficult, because you just gotta, take care of some brow stuff. But yeah, it's very confusing now. I guess if the wife is a Romulan, that makes the rift between Raffi and her son more tragic, right? Because and a lot more understandable too. It's like, hey, mom, I married a Romulan, and you're out here saying that her people, had a attack on Mars that nobody can prove, and I don't like that. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is confusing. Who's a Romulan? Who's a Vulcan? You could do some cool story stuff with that, but again, it's so sloppily done. I'm not we still don't know if the Commodore is a Vulcan or a Romulan. Like,
right.
My first thought was, well, that's a Romulan, and we're like allies with them now, and that's why she's head of Starfleet security, I guess. But there's like a Vulcan, IDIC on her desk. So
yeah, I thought Vulcan at first, but then now I'm Romulan.
Is she is Vulcan's working with the Romulans? Who knows?
Right. And I get that they're trying to obviously bring home that Romulan and Vulcans have a shared, history. I get that. That's been known forever, but we still were able to tell them apart.
So yeah. But Raffi's back on the ship. I thought for a minute, she might actually leave, because that goodbye scene, I was like, well, characters seem to come and go, like the housekeeper characters. I don't think they'll be back. I think we're done with them, right? Because it's funny, the trailers are like, oh, well, there were more scenes at Picard's house because of him in 709, but no, that's just a holographic representation of his house, because we don't want to build another set. We're going to use the set we already have, so you're going to live on a holodeck. Let's not make any mistake. That's why they recreated that set. So
I know, and it was so funny that they even mentioned, it's like, oh, I didn't want it. Well, you didn't change it, so I guess you do. Just small comment that it was so funny.
I like that scene between them, right? But yeah, so Raffi's back with the ship. She didn't leave. She's here, and I mean, she has nowhere else to go now, because she thought she was going to reconcile with her son and stay there and leave, and now she's back on the ship, and hopefully, I just hope they continue to have her be more 3-dimensional. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think she was pretty one note in every scene up till this episode, frankly. So
yeah. All right. So some other odd things that I saw. We got Mr. Quark, a Ferenginar, for the DS9 reference. I had to rewind that. Well, because I watch first time, and then when I watch the second time, I take my notes and I watch it with closed caption on. And so I was like, oh my gosh, they did say Quark. But Mr. Quark.
There was apparently a sign somewhere that said Quarks as well. I didn't catch it, but I saw people mentioning it. There was also a sign for Mr. Mott's Hair Emporium, which is the Bully and Barber from the Enterprise D. Yeah, and I was like, all right, see, I'm here for those kind of Easter eggs. I love that.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. See, I need people to point these out to me because I so miss it. Did not like that snake reptile. Vought was his name. And he can smell a lie. Okay, seriously. How do you smell a lie?
He has so many glands and stuff. I thought that was fine. What I didn't like though is like that whole sequence, and they've done this before a couple times on the show, where it's like we're gonna spend 15 minutes between two scenes cutting back and forth with the same characters talking about the same things. Because like with that guy, they're like, okay, watch out for this alien. He can detect a lie. And you're like, okay. And then we cut to the actual confrontation. He's like, as you know, I can detect a lie. I was like, all right, why are you telling us the same thing twice? Right? It's like they would talk about something and then he would say it again. And that just made that whole scene that was a whole act. That was the entire second act was like of the episode was like, okay, we're going to prepare. And then we flash forward to it actually happening. And we flash back to them preparing and back and forth and back and forth. The alien, it was fine. I don't know. It's like a unique Star Wars kind of alien, I guess, in a bar, right? I guess maybe that felt maybe more Star Wars than Star Trek. Maybe that's why you didn't connect with you. So,
oh yeah, could be. Did you get any flirting between Jurati and Rios?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, they're definitely setting that up, which kind of made me feel bad because again, I was thinking I didn't realize that video that she watched with Maddox was supposed to be 14 years ago. And then we find out they're together. I'm like, wait, she was kind of throwing some vibes at the captain there. What about? I guess she likes guys with beards because that's her thing.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Maybe she'll hit on Riker too when they see him. But eventually, we're ever going to see Riker and Troy?
Oh, when I need them.
How dare you, show? You advertised this since the first episode.
I know. I've been so upset every week. I'm like, okay, is this it? No, this is not it.
But there've been a couple of scenes, obviously where he's reading the book. He's like, I'm gonna annoy you. Like, oh, look at them, they're being cute, and like, oh, yeah, so they'll fall in love, and then he'll have his heart broken yet again, and he'll become even more brooding because he finally opened up and trusted someone, and they turned out to be, just like in Star Trek Discovery season 1 with Michael Burnham and Ash Tyler, because that's what we do. We have season-long twists that everyone sees coming, but they act like it's mind-blowing, and you're supposed to be like, oh my god, it's amazing. And ultimately, it's kind of like, yeah, we saw this coming a long time ago, and I wish you hadn't built your entire series around these. It's okay to have twists. I guess my point is, not to go on a tangent here again, Amy, but like, I guess my point is, it's okay to have like twists and turns, but like to have them just go on for so long and the payoff to be kind of underwhelming, that's my complaint. And that's a pattern I kind of see in these CBS All Access Star Treks with Vok and Ash Tyler, with the Red Angel and Michael Burnham. And now we have, Jurati here, where ever since she had that meeting with the Admiral, like, let's go up to the Commodore. Like, whoa, what's going on here? Why'd she show up there? Oh, she killed Maddox. I guess she is bad. But then the characters don't know that yet. So we got to wait like 5 more episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was a little upset that last week we got a great introduction to Elnor, and then all he was comic relief in this episode. He didn't do anything. He was just incredulous that people were going to lie, and that was his role for this episode. And I was like, man, we just got this whole backstory of his relationship with Picard and the flashbacks and how awesome of a fighter he is and protecting Picard and taking on his cause. And then this is what he does. Like, I didn't appreciate that for his character one bit.
I 100% agree with you.
Okay.
I'm like, how did we spend a whole episode like recruit like this we got to get this guy on our team. We got to get, and like we spent a whole episode.
Yes, the main purpose.
And we're like, all right, well, now he's here. Let's show off what he can do. And he does nothing. It reminded me like of, kind of back in early TNG where they like weren't really sure what to do with Worf. Like, let's have the alien say something funny, like because he doesn't understand what we're doing, right? Like,
Yep.
oh, are we all pretending? I get it now. Or even Data, even, right? It's like Data Worf comic relief. Like, that's what they were going for with this guy.
Yeah.
And that was fine for them because, like, they were in lots of episodes and did lots of things. But this guy, like, all right, man, you need to make a strong first impression. I know you cut somebody's head off in the last episode, but, like, this is your first, like, you're on the team now. Like, let's have him let's show why we went out of our way, spent an entire episode on this guy, went out of, like, we're going to Free Cloud, we made a detour to pick this dude up. And what purpose did he serve here? Nothing.
Nothing. And I was frustrated with that. Yeah. So, and then one last thing, when again, I went onto social media and there was complaints.
Sounds like you need to stop going on social media.
Exactly. But there was complaints that Patrick Stewart's French accent was terrible. Okay, listeners, on the closed captioning, it specifically said speaking in a cartoonish French accent. So he was supposed to be having a terrible French accent. It wasn't that Patrick Stewart couldn't play. This is a seasoned Shakespearean trained actor. If he wants to do a French accent, I'm sure he could do it perfectly, but it was meant to be cartoonish to go with the role of him in the patch and the, flamboyancy of Free Cloud. So I'm just putting that to rest. And it was there. It's canon because it was on closed caption, cartoonish French accent.
Well, does it make it worse that it was a choice? Because, like, I didn't like that. Look at me, I'm French, right?
I loved it. It was going with the Free Cloud flamboyance.
Well, I know that obviously Patrick Stewart probably enjoyed it. That's why it's there. Like you're talking about, he's the executive producer. He's making these calls. But, Amy, I'll ask you, in an episode that opens up with the character having his eye brutally ripped out of his head while he's alive, should we then have a comedic costume later with a character wearing an eye patch? Is that not a disconnect?
That was, I didn't understand the eye patch at all.
It's like, come on, guys. Like, it's just, how do you go from, like, you're talking about, it's fun, they're wearing costumes. Yes, and there have been many episodes of Star Trek where they've done that.
Yes.
And all the series. We're going on the holodeck. We're going on this planet. We're dressed up as gangsters. We're, et cetera, et cetera. I get it, right? But you can't have that in the same episode where someone get brutally tortured and their face ripped off. Like, that. There's a disconnect there, in my opinion. So that kind of made it, if the whole episode had been like kind of a fun, like, like a bada bing, bada bang from Deep Space Nine, a caper of some kind, or a Cupid, right? Like, I'd see what we're doing here. That would have been different. But like, I don't know, like I'm still recovering from this scene from Saw that we opened the episode with. I'm not ready to play dress up that have foolish accents later on. So that's kind of my stance on that whole part of it.
Yeah, and they didn't really, for me, make the connection on why he needed to be so flamboyant, why they all needed to be flamboyant. I didn't understand that because it just wasn't made clear, I don't think.
That's a thing. Like, that's a recurring thing in this show, unfortunately. Lots of things not being made clear.
Yeah. Why are you dressed this way? And I mean, because we see Raffi and Gabriel, like they're normal human beings having a life and having children and dressed normally. And then we've got this crazy corpse bar thing. So, all right. So do you have any other weird things that you wanted to mention?
I think that probably about covers it.
Okay.
I will say it's funny that, I haven't podcasted about Picard yet at all. But this week, I'm on 2 podcasts about it because a long time ago, a friend of ours, Tony Black, he does Primitive Culture on Trek FM. He's also on the We Made This podcast network. He has his own podcast about Star Trek Picard called Make It So. And Jean-Luc Picard on Twitter. You can look it up. I really like that handle. You can look him up over there. Anyway, I was talking with him about this episode as well this week. So I have talked very much about the 5th episode of Star Trek Picard, Stardust City Rag, which is hilarious since it's my least favorite episode so far. But we're halfway through, right? We're halfway through the season. This is 10 episodes. I guess this is our wrap up here. how do you feel about where the show is and where it's going at the halfway point here, Amy?